Yes guys, welcome back to the big match build-up for Liverpool versus Galatasaray, which is an absolute crunch game for the club, crunch game for the manager, because I dare say after the weekend he's not in hot water anymore. The water's very much coming up to boil, and I don't even want to think about if Liverpool get knocked out of the Champions League. One, for the sheer fact that we should be beating teams like Galatasaray, because I don't think Galatasaray are that good. And two, as I just said, it'll implode. The thing around the manager, the noise around the manager will absolutely implode. And this big match build-up is going to be a little bit different to what I normally do. So what I normally do is kind of like break down the opposition, have a look at Liverpool, starting lineup predictions, all that kind of stuff, and I will do all that at the back end. But I'm not going to focus so much on terms of Galatasaray, because look, what have we found out from Galatasaray that we haven't done from last week and whenever we played them back in the league phase of the Champions League? Galatasaray are not that good of a football team. Galatasaray have not got the players, the calibre of Liverpool, and Galatasaray should not be beating a Liverpool side on their day. But as we all know, this Liverpool side is not on its day at the moment, and it's very much on its arse. The players don't seem to know what they were doing, and let's have a look at the weekend. So, what is to say about that has not been said already? Obviously, I think a lot of the fan base was split before the weekend. I think a lot of fan base, maybe the more kind of old school traditional fan base, who have seen the club stick by their manager and believe that is the sort of ethos of Liverpool, and it is. We don't kind of chop and change our manager. You think about how many managers Man United, and this is not a stab at Man United by the way, but how many managers Man United have been through in the amount of time for when Fergie left, which I don't know that off the top of my head, but they will have gone through maybe 12 managers, something like that, I think. And you think about all the managers kind of the 30 years when Liverpool didn't win the title. We tend to stick by managers. Brendan Rodgers, before he got sacked, we allowed him to have the summer where he brought in the likes of Christian Benteke. We sacked him in October. Rafa Benitez obviously won the Champions League in his first league, but there was a period, I think maybe 3 or 4 years through. I think it was there for 5 years. The season before the 2009 season, where we put up a real title charge, that was a stinker of a season. And some fans will forget that, but that's how Liverpool is. Liverpool give time to their managers, and I'll be honest, I'm quite for that, because at the end of the day, football is a cutthroat business now, and it's like in any business really. How are you meant to go in and implement your changes, implement your kind of like philosophy, style, if you like, in any job, in any industry, if you're not given time? You need time. And listen, it sounds wild to even think about sacking a league title winning manager, but this is ultimately where we are. I think after Sunday, a lot of the fans turned boos in Anfield, which I think I said on my instant match reaction, I think that's the first time I've maybe heard boos in Anfield, especially for a long time. And I've been going to Anfield for over 30 years, and I've seen some shit teams. Trust me, I've seen some shit teams walk out of that tunnel, and yeah, I can't recall ever hearing. Obviously, you hear individuals sometimes, but large kind of sections of the crowd. It wasn't murmurs, it was rumblings. People had enough now. And I think the main thing what people had enough is the style of play. Because as fans, I suppose as Liverpool fans, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm speaking as a fan base now, we can accept losing if you're going out and working your bollocks off and fighting for the cause every single week. If we see that in the ground, we don't, fair enough, yes, I'm going to say we don't care. Obviously, we do care. But if we can see you're working your bollocks off as a player for us, we will get behind you and we will do whatever we can. And whether that's kind of like, singing, pyros and all that kind of stuff, we'll bring the noise if you bring the fight on the pitch. And that is where the fans are really getting frustrated, because we're not seeing the fight on the pitch. We're not seeing the effort on the pitch. And from the weekend, that was a depleted Tottenham Hotspur side. And listen, if Tottenham had their best team out, they'd probably fucking beat us. I know that sounds wild to say given that where they are, but they probably would, because we're that much of a yo-yo side at the moment. We're just stumbling through games. There doesn't seem to be kind of any tactical patterns of play, and I mentioned this the other day. I was thankful to be invited back on the Anfield Wrap for the Unwrapped show, and I mentioned something about how we build up now, because Arne Slot wants control. He said it last season. We saw it how we build from the back. We want to dominate the ball. We don't play 100-mile-an-hour football. We want to control the game. If we've got the ball, the opposition can't score. Excuse me. And we've got players that are good enough to hurt you in the opposite end of the field. But we've completely gone away from how we build from the back. And I was watching this for the last few weeks now. Obviously, Ryan Gravenberch's position has changed ever so slightly, and he's adopting more of an advanced role. We don't really play with a 6 anymore, or a double pivot, a double 6 if you like. The midfield just seems to kind of float and go wherever they want. It's like, oh, well, Sobbo and Wirtz are up there, so Maka's going to drop in, or Gravenberch is up there, so Sobbo's going to drop in. And it's, for me, it doesn't work. And one of the biggest things that I've not seen, and I'm not pointing fingers at Ryan Gravenberch, but Ryan Gravenberch is the player that he's sort of the culprit, and he's obviously been coached to do what he's doing. But when Virgil and Konate or Gomez, whoever the centre halves are, have the ball, you see it with other teams like Arsenal, like Chelsea, the 6 drop in, and fair enough, one of their midfielders will probably track them. But we've got to be good enough and brave enough to pop the ball into our number 6. Our other centre half then moves up, and they've got a ball, a square ball, a 90-degree ball, and that breaks the first press. That breaks the first line of defence, which ultimately is the opposition attackers. But we don't do that anymore. Ryan Gravenberch never, or even McAllister, they never drop in. Even if they've got a man on the back, them players are good enough to, whether it's just to pop it off or to shield it and then pop it back to Virgil and start again. We never do it. And again, go back to Gravenberch. We all remember that we call it the Gravenberch turn, where basically Virgil or Konate would pass it to the side where the space is, and he'd just drop a shoulder in and he'd roll his man, and then he'd take Liverpool 20-30 yards up the field and start attacks. When was the last time we saw that? And listen, I'm not a football manager. I've never done anything to do with coaching badges or anything like that. But I know a bit, and I've seen enough football to see the difference in what we were doing last season, the patterns of play, and what's happening this season, and things that we're not doing. And it all comes down to me to 2 words. One's being brave, and one is risk. And probably jog your memories back now to last season. Arne Slot doesn't like playing with risk. Everything that Arne Slot wants to do is risk-free. He doesn't want to be knocking long balls over the top and risk giving away possession. And this is where Liverpool are kind of just struggling and are stuck, because we just knock it sideways. Virgil goes to Kirkes. Kirkes comes back to Virgil, and it goes like that. And we don't take any risks at all anymore. And when, I remember, I hate kind of doing this and kind of going back to like the Klopp days, but I remember Jurgen Klopp saying that we have to take risks to get the reward. Yes, sometimes if we pass it into our midfield, if we get caught in possession, we may concede a chance, we may concede a goal, but ultimately we may break two of the opposition lines of defence, and we may then go and score or go and create opportunities and get in the opposition's half. And that is where then, even if we lose the ball up there, we pen them in and we keep them in there, and Liverpool just do not do that anymore. And another thing that I want to mention about not taking receiver is the lack of overlapping from the fullbacks. Our fullbacks never, ever, ever, well, I'm saying never, ever, hardly ever, they hardly ever go and overlap or underlap their wingers, if you like. So whether it's Gakpo or YNWA or Mo Salah on the right, they never go past them hardly. Probably there's rare occasions. I can't remember Andy Robertson in the first half going past Rio YNWA once. And we all think of Andy Robertson as this kind of fit, galloping up and down fullback, and fair enough, yeah, he's knocking on a few years in age, but I'm sure that Andy Robertson can do 60 to 70 minutes bombing up and down. I'm sure he's fit enough to do that. And then we've got Milos Kerkez, or we had at the weekend. If Andy Robertson gets gassed, we've got a perfectly good replacement to come and see out the game for that. And again, it's obviously a coaching thing. This, and Arne Slot is telling them, you don't go forward, guys. You stay in the back four. And to me, I think this boils down to how we was back in it was like September, October, around about October time, when we went on that fucking horrible string of losing games. Slot has obviously kind of doubled down now, and he's like, right, okay, he had to do something, and credit where credit's due, he did something. He stopped the rot, he stopped us losing games. But boy, are we paying the price for that now, because in my eyes personally, Arne Slot can't get to the next level now. He's got us to a point where we compete in games and we are kind of semi-structurally okay. We will create some chances, but we'll also give away some chances. And he's stuck in that. And to me, the players and the manager, they're all shit scared of losing games now. And the manager, it's his job. He has to install belief, passion, fight in those players that are crossing that white line every single week. It has to come from him that you guys are the fucking nuts. Go out there and beat Galatasaray, because Galatasaray are not even on your level. And especially the fact that Galatasaray have got no fans in our ground, we should be pissing all over these. We should be, but we're not going to be, and it's going to be, boy, I think it's going to be a cagey affair. I really, really do. I'll be honest, I was nervous for the Spurs game. I can't remember if I said it on my big match build-up or not, but I was nervous for the Spurs game, because even before game day, I sensed how the game was going to go, and the game went pretty much exactly how I imagined it to go. And I've looking over different other people's content online who was in the ground. We all knew what was going to happen. We did. But listen, this is a Champions League night. The crowd will get up for this, absolutely. For the first 15-20. They will. Liverpool, Anfield, under the lights. I know it's very cliche, but we do. When Champions League comes around, when we know that Big Ears trophy is on the line, we will get up for it. So, message to the players, we'll get up for it. We'll do our job for the first 15-20 minutes, but you've got to come out of the blocks and you've got to take this game to Galatasaray, because if we leave it to chance in terms of the longer this game goes on and Liverpool, or maybe it's 1-1 in aggregate or it's still 1-0 to Galatasaray in aggregate, the crowd will get nervous, the players will get nervous, the energy in the ground will completely shift, and that is when Galatasaray will grow. And that's what happened on Sunday against Spurs, where the second half came. I won't go into it too much, but we made the substitutes. We lost control of the game. The game went to a basketball game, and yeah, we all knew, everyone in the ground knew what was going to happen. So coming back to Galatasaray, for me, Liverpool have got to start quick, because if we give these guys a chance to grow confidence in this game, I've no doubt that they will want to time waste literally from minute one. I'm sure they will. And hopefully we get a decent ref, because the referee over in Istanbul was fucking terrible, if you ask me. But yeah, for me, the key to this is team selection, which I'll get on in terms of where certain players play and fit in this team. But yeah, the other key to this game and Liverpool getting a good result is how we start. We've got to start quick. We've got to set the tempo and we've got to take it there. And if Liverpool do that, the crowd will pick up on that, and we'll keep going, and we'll sing our hearts out for literally 90 minutes if it means getting us over that line and in the draw for the next round. Right, let's have a look at what I think potentially Arne Slot will do in terms of a team selection. So I think Slot gives us an indication of who he's going to start in this game because of who he took off and who he started on Sunday. So let's start with the goalkeeper, Alisson Becker. He's obviously fit, back in selection for Arne Slot, so he will play in goal. At right back is going to be an interesting one, and I think given how Mo Salah is struggling, I think he has to go, and given that we're behind in the tie as well, I think that's important. We have to go with Jeremy Frimpong. I think he excuse me, he gives us something different, and if he's allowed a license to join the attack, and again, I've kind of just said it a couple of minutes ago, but we're behind in this tie, so we need to take this game, and we need players like Jeremy Frimpong who will take the game to the opponent. So I think Jeremy Frimpong will play at right back. I think Ibu Kanate will come back into the side, and I hope to God he has a better game than what he did in Turkey, because if he shows any kind of form like what he played over there, boy are we in trouble. So Ibu, come on, you've shown great form recently. It really has, and let's just maybe put that one behind us. Let's get back to it. Virgil van Dijk will partner him in centre half. I think given that Andy Robertson started at the weekend, Milos Kerkez will come back in. Cool, fine with that. Midfield, I would like to see Curtis Jones, but I don't think we're going to see Curtis Jones. I think Curtis would be a great addition in this game, not only because of his ball retention, but Curtis will set the press as well. Curtis will run his bollocks off, and Curtis Jones hasn't got the best engine in the world, but boy, when he's on that pitch, he will give it his all until his engine is empty. I don't know what's going on between him and Arne Slot. Arne Slot doesn't seem to fancy him for me. I think Ryan Gravenberch will play. Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister, which I don't want to happen like this, because that means that Florian Wirtz will play out from the left, which, after seeing him in Turkey play out from the left, and I'm giving him a little bit of a pass for that game, because I think it was his first game back off that little back injury that he had. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that's what will happen. I think Florian Wirtz will operate predominantly from the left-hand side. And then Hugo Ekitike and Mo Salah. And I want to say something about Hugo Ekitike as well, because he's been given a little bit of a pass, if you like, by a lot of supporters, because ultimately he's been our goal scorer this season. He's been a bit of a shining light, an array of sunshine on what has been a bit of a dismal season. But why the fuck can he not play 90 minutes? We are nearly in April, mid-March. He can't play 90 minutes. And even when he came on the field on Sunday, I think the substitutes were around about the 60-65 minute mark, so he played the best part of half an hour. He looked knackered. He looked like he'd played 90 minutes after he'd played 10. And honestly, it absolutely baffles me. I don't know whether Liverpool are potentially nursing some kind of an injury or something like that us as fans are not aware of. But for whatever reason, Hugo Ekitike just did not look up to speed when he came on that field. And yeah, it's time for him to step up now. He is the man. He is the man that we look to. He missed a golden opportunity in Istanbul, that one-on-one where, for me, he took a touch too many and tried dinking it over the goalkeeper, whereas he set it up perfect to open his body up and just kind of bend it in the far corner. He missed a header as well, which I don't expect him to score headers anymore, because his head is like a 50p piece. He just literally cannot score headers. I know he's scored 1 or 2 this season, but majority of fans who watch Liverpool will know what I'm talking about with that one. So big night for Hugo Ekitike, and he needs to step up. Right, score predictions. Before we get into the score predictions, just worth pointing out as well, Milos Kerkez, Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch, Dominic Szoboszlai all picked up bookings in the first leg. So if they do, excuse me, if they do pick up another booking in this leg, they will miss the first leg of the next round. So worth noting those players there. Right, score predictions. Boy, oh boy, this is a tough one. I can see this going to extra time. I think Liverpool may win 2-1 in 90 minutes, which means that will be 2-2 on aggregate, and I think Liverpool will do the business in extra time. In terms of scorers, for the 2 goals, I'm going to go with Alexis McAllister. I think he'll pop up with a goal. And I'm going to go for Hugo Ekitike. And that's more wishful thinking, or me kind of praying for him to get back on the score sheet more than anything. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think Arne Slot will do in terms of starting lineup, and also get your score predictions in there as well. Right. And as always, if you haven't done already, please make sure you get over to my homepage and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I'll catch you in a bit.